Hey everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Luke from Essential TV,
I'm Peter. And I'm Ricky.
and we are here to discuss last night's episode of The Walking Dead. So, just right off the bat, I just want to address the fact that I've been kind of disappointed in The Walking Dead lately, and I was really looking forward to this episode to be the one that brings us back into the excitement we had in the first couple of episodes. And it's not that last night's episode was bad or that it wasn't exciting, it's just that it did not live up to my expectations. So, what did you guys think?
I thought it was entertaining, but again, a lot of questions not answered. Another episode with limited characters in it.
Yeah.
I was telling Luke earlier that still trying to figure out what the time frame is of when this actually occurred. You know, was it right after they split off? You know, or was it like before Rick gets back to Alexandria?
Well, it seems
just
like during this episode a lot of time has passed, maybe more time has passed than we've seen in any other episodes, just because of what's happening with Abraham and Sasha. It seems like they've had a lot of spare time.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell.
One thing is this, that it looks like they got to the 20-mile mark and they split off, right? So I guess however long it would take to get to the walkers to the mile mark, but who knows how long that takes, you know?
I mean, tell us, has this season been confusing to you with all the time jumps and all the different environments? It just seems like...
And we need more flashbacks because we still don't know how Rick got out of the RV.
I don't know if they'll ever tell
another
us.
thing that I would have loved to see that rather than 90 minutes of Morgan, you know.
Yeah. Send us all your comments and questions and we'll get to them.
And also rebroadcast or restream to your friends, and let's get some more Walking Dead fans in here. So, this was a big Daryl episode. And we've been waiting all season to actually see Daryl do something. And last night, did he really do anything?
He didn't do Daryl stuff.
He didn't do what we expected Daryl to do.
He was weak and he let people.
It was way too easy.
Over him, yeah.
And so, the natural question is, has Alexandria turned Daryl soft?
It could be, you know. Everybody seems a little bit softer.
Yeah.
Even Carl himself.
Being in. Well, I think everyone's
except for Carol.
Well,
Carol is
always,
hard as nails.
Yeah. Everyone's gonna get softer in that community besides Carol, because it's just the safer you feel, the more you're gonna let your guard down and get used to how things are. Which this show never lets things stay the same.
But it's clear that Daryl is looking at these people and thinking, okay, they're not that bad. We could recruit them. We could bring them back. And he's trying to get to that. You know, he gives them every opportunity to come back and join this community, which clearly they don't understand exists, or else they'd be jumping for joy at it.
But he kind of said, you know, he has a place where there's walls, there's the normal...
But I don't think they were believing anything he was saying.
Yeah, but you know what? He came back, he gave her the insulin. I guess that would show some sort of credibility.
Yeah, did a whole lot bringing her the insulin.
Yeah, well, she's stupid. Another stupid character.
I think the biggest question people are asking right now are Sasha and Abraham gonna bang? That's what people want to know.
Well phrased. Probably. I think that it was interesting. You know, we really haven't seen Abraham do much this entire series.
He was drunk. That's what we saw.
He gets all these little moments. He gets some really great lines in, but he hasn't done much. And this was one of the episodes we get to see the most of him. Maybe one of the top 2 or 3 we've seen the most of him. And I don't know. I think what they're basically saying is that Sasha's good for him because he's kind of a lost soul. And we saw last season, I think it was, he had a really great flashback episode with his family. And we get to see really where this guy came from and how he's become damaged.
And that whole flashback was like pretty much telling us he needs direction. He was like about to lose his mind until he met Eugene.
So he did something with Rosita. It feels a little, I don't know. It feels the way they addressed her as something to take care of seemed a little cheap, and so that makes me wonder, well, what's going to happen with Rosita? Because if you put Sasha and Abraham together as characters, Rosita has really only existed as an accessory, and you know, is there a point for her character? Are they ever going to do anything with her if they do this?
Yeah, she really hasn't been.
So I think if I'm that actress, I'm a little concerned about this storyline.
Yeah,
my days are numbered.
Yeah, she's gonna eventually hit the road.
She's gonna be Walker Cho.
And she has a lot of exposed skin, typically for biting. Also by walkers. So Sasha and Abraham kind of finding each other, being two lost souls, being two damaged people that together create maybe a functioning human being. I don't know. I think that's interesting. It could be a good story going forward, but it also felt a little slow.
Yeah, but exactly, like, I don't want them to finish that story anytime soon. Leave that for later. I want to get to...
Put it in the background.
Yeah, I want to get what happened to Rick, Glenn, whose voice was that on the radio.
And who were those people that were chasing down Daryl and his new friends? I use that term loosely.
Yeah.
So we know that they've cast Negan. And if you are not aware, this is the big bad villain from the comic books that has been rumored forever to be on the show. And if you don't know him, he's like the governor, except far worse than the governor. Far more profane, far more violent and dangerous. And he has a big organized group that is also formidable. And so it makes perfect sense that these characters that were introduced, we know they're not wolves because they're well equipped. We didn't see their teeth, but I'm guessing that they brush. And we didn't see any W's on their foreheads. But they have guns, they have vehicles, they seem organized, they seem competent, they seem unwolf-like. So I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that this is the Saviors.
Yeah.
And also they were planting seeds. You know, what was the little wooden?
It's like he was whittling. I think it was like someone doing.
It was like thing, right? It was like a Virgin Mary or something.
Yeah. I don't really get what the whole point of that was.
I think they're just indicating. I think they're hinting that these are the Saviors because it's vaguely religious.
I think they're really trying to like get the fans like hyped that this could be the Saviors. They want to show like little Easter eggs.
Right. And
plus, that guy Wade, who was like I guess in charge of that group. Right. They refused to show his face, which like makes every fan think like, oh, this guy's something big.
I assumed he was a Charlie Brown character.
Well, they don't even show. They don't even have his voice.
No. So the other thing that they mentioned is that with these characters that Daryl is desperately trying to help, in spite of all their actions, they said something along the lines. They thought Daryl was one of these guys, clearly. And they said something about, we don't, want to live by your rules. We don't want to, was it bow down or kneel or something?
It was kneel down.
I think it was kneel down because it sounded also very vaguely religious, which ties back to this Saviors theme. So I think it's pretty clear that's who they are. And they seem like what they're doing this season is they're setting up all these different groups of people. You've got these wolves that are the barbarians. You've got the walkers that are a force of nature. And you've got the Saviors who are every bit as organized, maybe more so than our group at Alexandria.
Is this leading up to a Battle 5 Armies finale?
Could be. Or maybe that's next season.
Or maybe they'll use the walkers.
Use the walkers as a weapon. I'm a little disappointed because I thought that when we saw the Wolves last season and their whole thing seemed to be using walkers as a weapon, we didn't really see that. Yeah. When they attacked, they just attacked with axes and knives.
The walkers are just like no longer a threat. Like when Daryl's like when he runs away and he's like tied up and he's like hiding, and then you hear someone coming, and once I realized it was a walker, I was like, oh, he's fine.
Right.
And then he's like trying to struggle to get his crossbow, and it's
walkers are only like dangerous in extreme numbers.
And also, if you turn your back on them.
Right. Apparently, you never hear them coming until they're 2 feet away. Despite the fact they do not make efforts to be quiet.
No.
So, someone's asking, will Morgan get banished or leave on his own? I think that what happened this next week's episode, from what we can see, they're going to finally maybe address the fact that Morgan has been careless. The fact that Morgan let these wolves go, and then eventually they showed up in the RV with Rick with a gun. Maybe we'll finally get our flashback.
Maybe. Or at least Rick just telling us what happened.
Right. And
what's with the blood dripping through the fence? What is that?
I think what that's indicating, and I don't know, I'm just guessing, is that there's so many walkers, they're just pushing against the gate.
Yeah, okay, so like in that first episode when they're like slamming against the wall.
That's what I took from that as well.
So eventually the wall's going to have to give.
Maybe not. I mean, it's just that they're surrounded and they can't get out. they're completely
Yeah,
surrounded by
I think they're
walkers.
completely insulated now, and so even if
They're gonna have Daryl, like, you know, lead him off again.
well, but at the end of this, Daryl finds this truck full of gas, and the guy that had held him captive had indicated, you know, we killed a bunch of walkers. We started a big walker bonfire, which drew more in and wiped them out. So I'm thinking that what they're doing is now that Daryl found this truck conveniently that they were clearly looking for.
Yeah,
that
it was hidden, right?
That was Patty.
Yeah.
When the people go to the fence and they say, "Where's Patty?" What happened to Patty?
Oh, okay.
Patty was the truck.
Patty was the truck they were looking
Patrick,
for.
it was called, like, what was it called?
Yeah.
like Patrick.
Patrick something.
I don't
Fuel.
Yeah, okay.
And so I think that what they're leading us towards is Daryl shows back up at Alexandria with the gas to light the bonfire and take care of the walkers at the gate. But I like that a couple episodes ago, Rick referred to those walkers as their guards, keeping them protected. And so I have to wonder, are they actually better off killing all the walkers or leaving them there?
Yeah, but
How
they
are they
have to
gonna
get
get
out.
out? Yeah,
to
how are they gonna get
food and supplies?
I don't know.
Or maybe they'll use the tunnel.
Well, the tunnel got pretty surrounded too.
Yeah, I know, but they can eliminate the people.
I just
from
feel like it'd
there.
probably be easier to get out when you have to, making a distraction. I don't know. It feels
Yeah.
like they've actually got kind of a good thing, unless that blood oozing through the walls is really indicating that.
RPG, yes.
Yes.
They're gonna. The RPG is gonna come in handy.
Okay,
So are the cigars.
they already did. You do not introduce a rocket launcher and a case full of rockets unless you're going to make a big explosion at some point.
Yeah, it was like a gift. It wasn't like he
Right.
got them. It was
So
it was a gift from God.
we
Why
don't
didn't
know
he
who's
take
going to get blown up.
Why didn't he take like the SUV? You know, can't they?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought-
Hot wire this stuff.
Look, there's a
There's gotta be
box
gas
of
in
rockets
there.
and there's a rocket launcher and there's cigars. Just chilling here on this truck. Clearly, the truck probably works too because nobody's gotten to it
Yeah.
yet. Like, did this truck run out of gas and they just left everything? That was frustrating.
He should have like killed the guy. You know, stab the walker in his head, then go through and check his pockets for the keys, and then there you go. There's your ride.
and that
And there's a good asset for the.
Last night's episode reminds me of old episodes of The Walking Dead when there's all kinds of lazy things that are frustrating for viewers, like check the truck, or like Daryl, why don't you tell them you're not those people?
They wouldn't.
Like,
They wouldn't have believed him.
but he didn't put it forth an effort. There's like all these frustrating things that The Walking Dead used to do to us that they just never they got away from. Right?
Yeah.
They started to write better stories and they started to make us less frustrated. And last night was one of the I felt like a return to that old way of writing where it's like we're yelling at our TV
He's
because of lazy
getting
writing.
scratched by the walker. You see it. He's going like
Scratches.
that.
No, they
Like the scratching doesn't exist anymore.
They discontinued scratching after season 1.
That was dumb.
Yeah. There's no way you could write around.
But they
that.
never really addressed. We're talking about how in the early seasons they made it so that if you got scratched by a walker, you would turn. Then they've gotten away from that, so now that it's more about biting.
It's only biting.
But the scratching was kind of dumb. It was a cheap writing device that created more problems.
Yeah. What about Rick's cut hand? We don't know.
Hopefully
we'll find
next
out.
episode we'll find out a little bit more about
And maybe
all
he'll
our
just
questions.
say, "Well, my hand's feeling better." It feels lazy.
It would. Why would they
put
bother?
so
like,
much attention to it?
yeah.
And then I also thought when at the beginning of the episode, and you see Daryl's like bleeding from his sleeve, I was like, oh, I guess they're just like throwing out so many, like someone's losing a hand eventually, because like Rick, Glenn,
Somebody
Daryl,
did lose a hand though.
yeah.
Somebody did lose a hand last night.
But I thought they were like sending
was
out
pretty
so many
awesome.
like red herrings or
I
like.
saw a comment too
his-
that somebody put. I don't forget who did it, but he goes, "It was funny how they said, hey, walk it off."
That whole
Right.
scene was so easy. It's just
chopped his arm. I was like, all right, come on, let's go. All right, I'm
Why
and
didn't-
where was the blood? There was
Yeah,
no
no
blood
blood.
pouring out of this
Doesn't
guy's arm.
pass
What's
out.
going on?
It's
here?
like this is not the first.
What did he
arm
get
this
caught with a
dude chopped
lightsaber
off.
and it's like
Cauterized? Yeah.
cauterized his arm?
Those
Jeez.
guys.
he also
were
got bit by a
experts.
walker trapped between a rock.
It was pathetic. I
It
mean,
was.
that guy should die.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be real here.
It's like, well, I'm just gonna lean on this vehicle. Whoa, wait a
What a
second.
great like move by Daryl. That's another underestimated thing you got by Daryl. Daryl like kind of shook the branches to give him like a distraction, and then he goes, "I'm gonna put my arm here on a wall." And
Right.
he's a walker.
I'm just gonna
Ah!
lean on this tree. Wait a second, that's not a tree.
I'm gonna grab this vine. Oh, it's a snake.
Right.
That was pretty bad.
I'm gonna drink this tasty Mountain Dew. Oh no, it's acid. Like
It's Three Stooges.
There's a lot of really lame stuff that happens in this episode that if you can look past it, maybe it's fun.
It's definitely not an essential episode.
It was not an essential episode.
Except for the very end where someone on the walkie-talkie. Who is that?
So we hear a voice at the end. I think they said help. It wasn't super clear.
We'd have to go watch it with captions on it.
Yeah, that's a good cheat.
My first thought was someone saying don't, and I thought they were saying like don't come to Alexandria, but help. It could be Glenn saying help. That's definitely what they want us to think.
That's the thing. It's like this Glenn thing, man. It's getting out of control. It's like you either really want Glenn to be alive, or you think that if they come up with some way to bring him back, it's going to be really lame, which is totally in keeping with what's happening this season. But regardless, it's a huge distraction.
We're in the bargaining stage of dealing with death.
And I got one more thing that bothers me, is that every time they need to use the walkie-talkies, no one answers.
Right.
Yeah. And then it's back to normal, and they're talking. So it's like, it wasn't like it was shut
Why do you even carry these walkie-talkies? Have we ever heard somebody actually answer one?
Yeah, I'm all right. Don't worry about it. I'll meet you at so-and-so at a certain time. No, it's like, hello, guys, you there? No? All right.
He gave up, yeah. Daryl's like, he's like, Sasha, Abraham. No, okay, give up. Just tried once.
A lot of frustrating things in this episode, a few episodes
Were
now.
you as frustrated as us? Because I feel like we only have 2 episodes left of this season, and it started off so strong.
It plateaued.
Or, I'm sorry, not this season, this mid-season, this year. So we have 2 episodes left before we're waiting until like February or March for more. How are they going to end this? Because it looks like next episode is going to be back at Alexandria. We're going to be dealing with the Morgan situation.
All we want is tell us about Rick, Morgan, and Glenn.
Right.
Maybe some saviors.
They'll end it with the saviors. Somebody's going to be another threat.
Somebody's going to die, too. Who do you think's going to die?
I think somebody will die within the next episode.
Officially.
And I think that if it's Rosita, because basically she's useless now, it's going to be lame because there's no point. It's going to be a meaningless death. It's like, here's someone that we've seen around, so theoretically they have value. We'll kill them so that people think that we didn't just kill a nameless Alexandrian. It's still cheap.
Yep. We'll find out, though.
I think
hopefully, it can't get any worse. It has to get better, I think.
I think that if Glenn is alive, clearly he's not going to be killed by the saviors, because that would be super lame. Like, hey, it's okay, I made it out alive. And then he's dead within, the next 4 episodes. That's stupid. So I don't think that if Glenn is alive, he's going to be killed anytime soon. But I think that they might substitute Maggie. Because I feel like now that Maggie is pregnant, there's a lot of weight that gets put into her death. And I'm not advocating, I'm not saying I hope Maggie dies, right? But I'm just saying that from a story perspective, if they want a really meaningful death that affects people,
that fans are going to talk
and they
about
can't
forever.
kill Daryl, and they can't kill Rick, and they already tried to kill Glenn and he gets out of it, then it's going to be Maggie.
The writers of The Walking Dead want their Red Wedding Game of Thrones moment. They are competing with Game of Thrones for fan reaction videos.
And someone wants to know if they find Morgan's pet wolf. Speaking of Game of Thrones. No, he's going to warg into it. I think that...
Yeah, you can't have 2 babies on the show.
No, that's the thing. I think they've already become frustrated with the baby situation. The baby really limits what they can do from a story perspective. And so, are they really going to have another baby on the show?
No more babies. There's no baby formula. There's no like medicine. There's no shots.
It's
like,
distracting.
Yeah.
And now that Tyrese is gone, who's going to be the nanny?
Yeah, I know. It is what it is, man. But we'll find out.
Why do we think they can't kill Daryl?
Because he sells money.
They say that any character can be
Wait, he
killed.
does sell money. I'm sorry. He makes money.
He makes money. Let's be honest. Listen, people love Daryl as a character. I love Daryl as a character. Last night, not so much, but most of the time I do. But the most merchandise that's sold is Daryl merchandise. And let's keep in mind, this is a business. And so I do not think they will kill off Daryl, because then they're going to sell a lot less action figures. And I'm sorry, that's just the truth. That's TV, man. So I don't think they'll kill off Daryl. I think that the only time they'll ever kill off Daryl is if it's the end of the show, or Norman Reedus finally decides, like, I'm done, I have to move on. Glenn, on the other hand, is a very important character who probably does not sell a lot of merchandise. Glenn could be dead, And I don't think it's really going to impact business. In fact, I think it impacts business for the positive, whether he's dead or alive, because this conversation about Glenn has been going on for how many weeks now?
4, 5.
So there's a lot of Glenn talk, and that's good for business. So if they bring him back, if they don't, it doesn't matter. They got what they want out of this.
The one thing about Glenn dying, what was that, the second or third episode?
I think it was the third.
It was.
It's just a weird position to kill a major character.
It was
like
the
that,
third.
You know, you usually wait till the second to last or the last episode. of the
Unless
season to kill
unless
off.
what you want to do is have exactly what's happening happen and keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
Because the episodes that have happened since have been very slow and uneventful. And so even though we're talking about Daryl last night and getting his bike stolen and all this stuff, what we really want to talk about is Glenn. Because that's the big dangling plot thread.
It seemed like there'd be more commercials too. Did you get that feel at all?
I recorded it, so I was fast forwarding through them.
And I just want to complain about The Talking Dead being pushed an hour back. I stayed up late because Michael Rooker was on, also known as Merle. And I was very disappointed because when they announced last week Michael Rooker was going to be the guest on The Talking Dead, I thought, well, that's awesome. That means we're going to get a Merle flashback or a hallucination or just more Merle.
Nothing.
And we didn't get it. But I stayed up late to watch Michael Rooker on The Talking Dead. And next week, The Talking Dead is pushed back an hour again. I think the following week, though, which would be the mid-season finale,
They'll
Talking
have
Dead's-
it
it's
immediately.
back on a regular time.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating to me.
Mm.
But hey, listen, they're trying to get people to watch the new
Hey,
show. I can't
what
blame
they're doing is they're generating a lot of viewers, and they're getting it, and that's what the game is ultimately.
Well,
Merle and the Governor were hated as characters and loved as actors at conventions. You can say that again.
okay. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back next Monday to talk about the next episode.
Which hopefully is very eventful.
Please.
Hopefully essential.
Please. It might just be them talking to Morgan in a room for an hour. Why don't we make it 90 minutes?
As long as Morgan gets killed at the end of that 90 minutes.
Walking Dead, please come back to us. We miss you. All right.
Just let us know what's going on.
In the meantime, we'll talk to you soon.
Keep on walking.
Please go to essential.tv and you can rate every episode of the season and any season and say, was this episode essential or not? And help other people who haven't had the time to watch this episode yet decide, do I really need to watch it? And I'm going to say probably not last night.
Yeah.
Again,
I vote no.
Nope.
if you have the time, watch it. If you don't, you can skip it. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. And keep on walking.
Keep on walking.
Keep on